Elden Ring is probably my favorite game of all time, and while I think it's near perfect, I believe that there is one big flaw with the game's design. The funny thing is that I think that it's also one of the game's strongest features. My goal in this video is to talk about that feature and then make a small suggestion that I think might help fix the problem. Something that every Souls-like game is known for is being hard. Some people might say I'm wrong and just say get good, but when I talk to friends or people online about what is keeping them from playing any FromSoft games, the number one thing that they say is that the games are too hard. What I don't think is communicated well to people who are scared to play Elden Ring is that there's one massive mechanic that can drastically change your experience with the game. That is Spirit Ashes. I think that Spirit Ashes are a fantastic addition to Elden Ring. They give you so much flexibility in how you play. It can make a game that can sometimes feel oppressive easier if you don't have internet access or can't summon other people in. And there is a massive variety of Spirit Ashes that all function and act differently, giving you so many fun and enjoyable options. This brings me to what I also think is the biggest flaw of Elden Ring, and that is how the game scales with Spirit Ashes, which is not at all. Even though I understand that part of the reason that Spirit Ashes are in the game is to make Elden Ring a bit easier, I also think that balance needs to be tweaked a little bit. When you summon in other phantoms to help you with boss fights, those bosses are given health and resistances so that when you enter the boss arena, you don't immediately just raffle stomp the boss and move on with your day. At least that's the hope anyways. When you summon Spirit Ashes to help you, there's no scaling, period. This can take a boss fight from challenging and thought-provoking to downright trivial. In the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, there were many boss fights that I just stood in the corner and let my Spirit Ash completely demolish the encounter while I sipped on my coffee and just enjoyed the view. So I think this is also a problem. So what can be done to fix this? Like I said earlier, I believe it all comes down to how the bosses are scaled in relation to Spirit Ashes. For example, in a game like Skyrim, it can be hard to ever truly feel like you are a Dragonborn because everything in the game levels up with you as you level. I also remember when playing some of the early Borderlands games, if you enter a DLC during your first playthrough, everything in those areas would snapshot to your level, and then if you came back later, you destroy everything just by breathing in their general direction because everything is way lower level than you. I don't think either of these options are very good. Something that I absolutely adored about my hundreds and hundreds of hours spent playing Monster Hunter World is how they scaled the monsters in multiplayer. For every player that joined your hunt, there was about a 50% health buff for the monster, but it didn't actually do any more damage. For some reason though, there was no difference between having 3 or 4 players in the game, but they changed that after a while. I think that Elden Ring should implement something like this for Spirit Ashes. I think that the bosses should scale just slightly based on what level your Spirit Ash is. I'm not looking for the massive health and resistance buff that bosses get when you summon in a phantom, but just a small one. For example, if I'm using a Mimic tier +8, then maybe there's an 8% health buff, so on and so forth. Leveling up your Spirit Ashes are a great way to make the game a bit easier, so I don't want people to feel like they're being punished for leveling up a core mechanic of the game. I also don't think that I should be able to sit back and not engage at all with the game while my Spirit Ashes do everything. At that point, I might as well just go play one of the 8,000 idle games that I can find on Steam. In order for this to be done, we would also need to be able to summon in our Spirit Ashes before entering the boss room due to how the boss snapshotting works. So to summarize my thoughts, I think that one of the best features in Elden Ring, being Spirit Ashes, is also one of the biggest flaws in the game because of how the scaling works. I don't want to be punished for leveling up a core mechanic, but I also don't think that leveling up my ashes should trivialize boss encounters. I think just slightly tweaking bosses based on what level your Spirit Ashes are would be a huge step in the right direction. But what are all of your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments below if you think FromSoft got it right when it comes to Spirit Ashes, as well as what your favorite summon to use is. And be sure to subscribe as well so you never miss a video. I'm always uploading new tips, tricks, secrets, boss guides, and other Elden Ring videos. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.